Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel. Welcome to all my new subscribers, all of my old subscribers. Y'all been riding with me since like 2013 and just throughout all of my long hiatuses. But today I'm finally here to sit down and just talk to you guys about why YouTube's always kind of taken like a back seat to what I do or where I've been. Yeah, I'm officially a midwife, y'all. I'm a midwife. I know I've hinted at me being in midwifery school or going to start midwifery school a few times on my channel, but yeah, y'all, I'm official. It's been so long, like, this journey. So I just kind of want to get into today just how I became a midwife, because I've actually gotten over the years quite a few DMs and just some comments under videos about you guys wanting to know more about how I became a midwife or how do you become a midwife. So I'm just kind of here just to tell you guys about my journey. Super unorthodox, but I'm here. And yeah, and maybe could help somebody out there who's thinking about it or just even wants to know more about what midwives do. So yeah, let's just get into that. So pretty much I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I was raised by my mom, single family household. My mom was definitely the matriarch of the family. She was a hustler. Like, she just did the damn thing. And from a young age, I've always just been watching her moves. And naturally, her working in healthcare, I was exposed to healthcare pretty early on, whether it's just, her picking me up from school and her having to go back to work and me sitting just wandering around just watching everything around me. And not only that, but she also sits on the executive board of her union. So she was someone who was constantly day in and day out like fighting for people's jobs and just really being that voice when people couldn't be that voice for themselves. So advocacy was something that I was exposed to super early. So little did I know, throughout the years, that trait that she naturally had would rub off on me. So I remember in senior year in high school, I had to do this independent student experience, and we had to get experience or exposure to some type of field that we potentially are interested in working in. At 17, how am I skipping this part of the story? This is a pivotal point in the story. Let's rewind back to when I was like 9 years old. Any chance you get as a kid growing up in the 90s, you ready to go run outside, ride your bike, you just ready to let loose. Well, I definitely did do that, but y'all gonna think this is so cliche, but I don't know, have any of you guys watched that show that used to come on TLC called A Baby Story? It was basically a show that showed a healthcare provider, take care of a pregnant woman and just like the weeks leading up to her actual delivery, and then it would take you inside the room during the delivery and you would see all of that. So I was about like 8 or 9 years old when I first started watching that, and I just became hooked. My mom would even ask me like, you could go outside and play, like, why are you watching this show? But she was also, a little, I guess, she was encouraging when I was watching it, and that stuck in my head, and I'm like, man, this gotta be the coolest job on the planet. You can be a part of delivering, like bringing life into the world. I thought at that time, like, how do I do this? And so kind of forgot about it a little bit. It wasn't until I was in high school when I had to do the independent student experience and get some exposure to a field that I'm interested in, where I went to my local hospital and they had a volunteer department, and I was able to volunteered there in their labor and delivery department. And so that was my first real exposure to actual labor and delivery and all of that. And so the chairman at the time, he took a liking to me. He would bring me in on C-sections, and I would just be able to, watch on the sidelines during a labor and just see the day in to day out. So I made up in my mind at that time that I was gonna become an OBGYN, because that's what I thought that was the only option, or the only route, or the best route. So went to college and was pre-med biology major. I wish I knew some of the things that I know now, but it's okay. It is what it is. Everybody's story that's what your testimony is about, right? So basically, I went to college thinking that I had to be a bio major, had to be on the pre-med track to go to med school. And let me tell you, it was stress. I was so stressed during undergrad. Like, people ask me to this day, man, if you could do college all over, would you? I would say, hell yeah. Because the advisors that I had, they didn't know what they was talking about. And I also was an RA in college, like a resident assistant. So I just had a lot of responsibility. And to have a biology major as well, it was super overwhelming. And so I graduated, thank God, but there was no way during my senior year was I prepared to take my entrance exam to med school, and also, get my applications ready. So I talked to my mom, and I was like, maybe I should just take a year off and really just focus on, honestly, in my mind, I was taking a year off to reevaluate, like, do I really want to do this? Because being a bio major was rough. And so I went home that summer. I took a prep course for my entrance exam for med school, and I began getting my applications in order, getting my references. Y'all know, anybody who applied to med school, it's definitely expensive and an extensive process. So throughout that time, I had little mini breakdowns where I was like, yo, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So my mom, I told her, and she was like, Mel, why don't you go back to labor and delivery? Why don't you try to see if there's an internship available, and just immerse yourself in the field again, because it's been a while. So I said, you know what, let me do that. And so I was able to get exposure to the field again. And at that time, I'm a little bit more mature. I just think differently at this point. So a lot of the things that I saw when I was volunteering, I just think differently at this point. So when I went back in, I'm in with a different mindset. And I was already developing into a person who liked a lot of natural options. I was going natural at that point, natural hair. And I was starting to eat a lot healthier, work out a lot more. I was just going through a transition of, I guess, taking better care of myself. So, being back on the L&D unit, I was not exposed to midwives for the first time. And it's crazy because my mom, I was talking to her about this the other day, and she was telling me, I told you back when you was a senior in high school that maybe you should look into becoming a midwife. And I didn't remember it at the time, but now that I think back to it, she definitely did mention it. And I kind of just brushed it over, because I was just like, aren't midwives aren't they like the ancient lady from, the wise woman from the neighborhood who came and delivered your baby at home? I was like, are they even still around? I was very, very naive and ignorant, to say the least. So this time around that I actually seen midwives and was able to see what their day-to-day was like, or what their day-to-day entailed, I immediately took a liking to this one midwife. She was not necessarily young, but she just had like a very fresh personality. The way she cared for her patients was a lot more from a holistic standpoint. It just felt more honest and more, I don't know, it just really, I don't know, I was drawn to it. And I was like, man, and they work in a hospital now too. Like, it was just so much I didn't know. So I said, you know what, maybe I need to do my research and see what they're all about. And to be honest with you, some of the physicians that I saw, their whole mentality, the things that I caught some of them saying, it just, I don't know. I heard this one physician say, you know, if, you know, she don't push in the next 10 minutes, you know, we gonna cut her. And for me, I was just like, ain't labor supposed to be, like, isn't labor supposed to be a natural process? Like, haven't women been having babies since the beginning of time? Like, at this point, I'm mature enough to like question a lot more things. So I'm saying, like, why are we rushing the process? Like, what's the big rush? Where do we gotta go? And that's when I started thinking about it. You know, a C-section takes what, around 45 minutes? Labor can actually take days. It really can be days. And so I realized that 45 minutes in and out, better for business. And so I went home, I just started doing a whole bunch of research. And the more I researched is the more I just felt like midwifery was calling me. I felt like they needed me. I felt like I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't become a midwife for some reason. And I struggled a lot because I felt like if I, you know, didn't go to med school now, I would be letting a lot of people down. You know, this is what I said I was gonna do. You know, now people are gonna be like, oh, you're not a doctor? Oh, you're a midwife? But I'm just like, people's opinions, do they really mean anything? Like, it's subjective, you know, like everybody has an opinion. So I said, you know, what do I feel? How do I feel about it? In my mind, I'm telling myself, midwives have been delivering babies since the beginning of time. Their philosophy about partnering with women, about advocating for women, encouraging a healthy lifestyle, like promoting health and promoting, allowing the body to do what it's made to do. I just felt like, just from an ethical standpoint, that would be a lot more fulfilling for me to practice and preach that than, you know, over medicalize everything and, you know, turn pregnancy and turn labor into a medical problem or an issue or an emergency when it's not. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect physicians to the utmost. Like, I have the highest respect for them because at the end of the day, sometimes labor does turn into a problem and you do need medical intervention. But I felt like if it's not necessary, let's not do it. Let's approach pregnancy and just healthcare in general from a holistic standpoint. And, you know, connect the mind, body, the spirit, the soul, all of that together, the body dynamics, you know, let's connect all of that. And then if need be, you know, we can intervene. So ultimately it came down to me doing my research on what would be the best fit for me, because I still knew that I wanted to be in the provider role and I wanted to have as much flexibility as possible. So with that being said, becoming a certified nurse midwife was, I guess, what you would call the midwife that has the most options. You could work in a hospital, you could work at home, you could work in a birth center. You know, I'm not limited, and I'm respected and viewed as a healthcare provider in all 50 states. So that was important to me because I never know where life is going to take me. I could have just became a nurse in undergrad. So now it's like, okay, now I have to look, now I have to research. So now it became, okay, how do I become a nurse midwife? And so I ended up having to take like 10 or 11 prerequisite courses. So right after undergrad, I took, I think it was like 6 months off to kind of just get that experience, and then I started with all of the prerequisites that I needed now for nursing school. So I had to take another 1.5 years to fulfill those prerequisites, and then now after I did that, I was like, okay, what is a great, nursing school that I can go to? So I ultimately decided to go to George Washington University in Washington, D.C. because they had an accelerated bachelor's, like a second degree bachelor of nursing program, which I could finish in 15 months. And you have something as little as, you can finish some accelerated nursing programs in like a year, 12 months. But GW ultimately was where I wanted to go because I knew they had a midwifery program as well. And so after I finished their BSM program, their accelerated BSM program, I went straight into their graduate midwifery program. And so that was another 2 years. So altogether it was a 3.5 year, no, because if I factor in the prerequisites, it ultimately ended up being like 4.5 years of school. 13, 14, 15, 18, 19. No, I'm lying. It was more like, yeah, it was like 5 years I ended up having to do. But it's water under the bridge now, because I think ultimately when it comes down to it, I live with no regrets because I'm here. I became a midwife last year in 2019. I finished school, and I just really appreciated my process. It allowed me to really realize that if you set your mind to something and you never waver from it, like, don't waver. If you really want to do something, no matter how long it takes, no matter the journey, no matter the detours, like, God always, I feel like God and the universe, they always conspire, just always in your best interest. They always, I don't want to get emotional. I really don't want to get emotional, but if you ask anybody, I've been on this journey for quite some time. It's been like 9 years altogether, and I wouldn't change anything. I really wouldn't change it. It just gives me the options, to work in a hospital, work in a birth center, work at home, like do a home birth practice. Ultimately one day I want to open up my own practice. And so you gotta, do the work now, and you just reap the benefits later. Honestly, don't put it off. And if anybody out there wants to become a midwife, y'all been thinking about it, but you just need some advice, definitely reach out to me. I have my information below. You can email me, send me a DM. We could talk. We definitely could talk, because I wish I had somebody, in the field at that time that was mentoring me. That's what I'm looking for right now, is mentorship, is some seasoned midwives who can definitely take me underneath their wing. So yeah, guys, I really hope that, I know this video was just, I just really hope you guys see why I ultimately decided to become a midwife. I'm just so happy. Honestly, I feel like midwives and the profession, we've been around before it was even classified as a profession. It's in the Bible. Midwives been around since they were delivering babies up in the caves, man. You had the mama who had a baby before, who maybe had to figure it out on her own. Now she's able to help, the next generation. And so we were top dog at one point. We were all there was. And then, medicine came in, which, thank God for medicine. It definitely comes in handy, and we need it. But not always. And it shouldn't be it shouldn't be like natural childbirth and midwifery and holistic medicine shouldn't be the alternative. I don't believe that. I think that we should be the standard and medicine should be the alternative. It should be only if necessary. So I kind of feel some type of way about, you know, midwives being the top dogs at one point, and then somehow they kind of became like the underdog, or, you know, kind of got pushed out, and now we're like fighting to just bring awareness to really caring about women and really wanting to advocate for them and really just want to allow the body to do what it was made to do and assist it through that, not try to trick it into doing something it's not ready to do, or, you know, force certain ideals on women, you know, and tell them that, you know, you can't do this or you need to do it this way. Midwives, man, their whole vibe, our whole vibe, I can say ours because I'm a part of it, man. Our whole vibe is all about seeing you, and really just wanting to partner with you and advocate for you, be that healthcare provider who can educate you, can tell you, you know, what you can do to ultimately better your health and ultimately encourage a healthy outcome for you and your child. I'm all for that, and I'm just so happy that I'm able to now share that with you guys. And that's what I've been leading up to, you know, beauty videos and hair videos. It's fun, and I love, you know, sharing that creative side of me. But I knew that, you know, being on the internet and making videos, I wanted it to have a deeper meaning. And I'm here to ask you guys, I know, you know, you guys all follow me for hair and makeup and all of that good stuff, but would you guys be interested in me adding a healthcare component to my channel? Would y'all be interested in just, you know, not 20-minute long videos on talking about the anatomy of the body? Like, that's what I went to school for. I went to learn all of that. So now I can give it to y'all in a nutshell. Would y'all like, you know, reproductive health videos, whether it's, you know, you got a little itch and, you know, you don't know if it's a yeast infection or if it's BV or if it's an STD? Do you want advice on like breastfeeding and like the benefits, how to breastfeed, how to do a self breast exam, things like that? Talk about childbirth and, you know, things you can do to optimize your chances of having a vaginal delivery, things you can do to, you know, if it's, you know, you at 40 weeks and you like, baby, where you at? Things you can do to encourage labor to start naturally. You know, if you guys are interested in that, let me know. For us, by us. How about that? For us, by us. Solange said it best. You know, I'm here to be that person that is going to give y'all the real. And if y'all are interested in that, let me know. I know this video is entirely too long, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And please subscribe. Put y'all comments down below. Let me know anybody else a midwife or on the journey, or y'all like, what the hell does a midwife do? Like, we can get into all of that, but I just really wanted to share my story with you guys. Until my next video, guys, peace and love.